who's the main character in Yellowstone? 9.9 out of 10 say, oh, it's Kevin Costner. I go, no, it isn't. I go, it's the ranch. Here's the ranch. All the storylines blossom from the ranch. I'm going to take that same analogy, but I'm going to replace the ranch with the floor.
Welcome, everybody, to the Warrior Podcast. I finally was able to nail this guy down. Former trading floor broker. I have to read from the script here because there's a lot. He's currently in the film industry. He's a script writer. He's written a movie script called The Opening Bell. And he's written 2 TV series, one called The Floor and one called Federal Crime Investigators. His brain is full, trust me when I tell you. And with that said, Danny Sullivan, welcome to the Warrior Podcast.
Thanks, Frank. Glad to be here.
And I got to bust both of our balls here because I was on your podcast and I was nervous to come on the podcast. And I'm a podcaster and you were nervous to come on my podcast. And you're a podcaster.
Right.
It's kind of hilarious, you know? So, all right. So we're going to talk about a lot of stuff here, but take me to the beginning. Where'd you grow up? Parents, siblings, stuff like that.
Well, first off, the floor has been everything to our family. I mean, that's all I knew was the floor. Going back to when I was in second grade, when my father was working on the Midwest Stock Exchange at the time. And we're talking, between 67, 68 when I go on the floor. And I just thought it was the coolest thing in the world. I was probably in first, second grade. And it was just being 7 years old and being around a bunch of guys. It was extremely intimidating, but just so much fun, And my dad, love him dearly. He just lived and breathed the floor. And he just passed it along to his sons. My older brothers, Terry Sullivan, Matt Sullivan, spent, quite some time on the floor too, Board of Trade, CBOE.
So 3 boys.
Actually, I have 2 older brothers and a younger brother, sister. Younger brother and sister tried it for about a year and a half. One on the CBOE, one on the Chicago Stock Exchange, and it just wasn't for them. Myself and my 2 older brothers, we were born to do it.
And you gave me an interesting statistic. Combined, Dad, you and your 2 brothers, how many years total on the trading floor?
Frank, I haven't really done. I know it's over 100 years.
100 years.
Yeah, 100 years.
That's a dynasty.
Yeah. You can say
it's in your blood. You know what I mean? So that's why we're going to get to why you're doing all this stuff, but it is in your blood.
Totally in the blood. And I can tell you why, just little things that I'll never forget as a kid. So to continue, if you don't mind, it was 1970. And you know how it is in trading, especially if you're a trader, timing's everything. Well, my dad was a broker and he packed us up and went to Philly in 70. And, I was only 9 years old at that time. And my father was really doing well on the Midwest Stock Exchange. So when he went to Philly, I'm telling you, Philly's my second home. So when I start, saying negative things about Philly, again, it's just the truth. He came in from Chicago and he was treated like shit. No one accepted him. He would, it took time. Philly was a tough town. It's still a tough town, but it was a tough town back then when it came to, to the industry. So he had a rough time. And how do I know this is not from a 9-year-old, but later on as my brother Terry would tell me stories. He's 3 years older than me. And again, he just said that he wasn't treated that well. But you know what? It's just like a trader going into a pit for the first time. As a trader, you're not going to get welcomed and, pat on the back and,
No, they look at you like you're an alien when you go in the pit for the first time.
Absolutely. And the brokers on the Philly are sitting there going, this asshole is going to take money from us. Why should we treat him well?
Right.
He's going to steal more competition. He came into Philly with guns loaded, and what I mean by that is he had the accounts. He had the accounts. So he didn't come in there raw, and that's why jealousy and so forth and so on. So again, I was like only 9, but my brothers used to, one's 3 years older, one's 5. And my brother Terry used to go down there and work during the summers, and my brother Matt did too. And it wasn't like they graduated college and went on the floor like most of us did. Well, I didn't go to college. It's either high school or college. They were there when they were in 10th grade, 9th grade, working, doing whatever.
Yeah.
Probably ticket running for the most part or matching. And so we started really young.
I just want to pause on that.
Keep on going. No,
people come on the floor, and they usually boil down to 2 types of people. They come on the floor and they go, there's no fucking way I'm going to do this. And then other people get excited. And I think when you're younger, you don't have some of the fears. You're a little more gung-ho, so you're not intimidated. You're like, yeah, this is pretty cool, right? So you start young, you're like, yeah, I got this,
I'll tell you something silly, and this is like one of my first coolest thing, man, was the timestamps going off at the same time. I thought that was the coolest thing in the world. And I go,
when the floor was quiet, right? When it was
actually, you know what? I should have said, this is when we go down on the weekends. My dad had to do something on the floor of the Philly. So yes, you're absolutely correct. It was absolutely dead silent all of a sudden.
I actually missed that.
Bam, all at one time. And I thought that was like, so awesome. And then the ticker tape, just looking at the ticker tape. Oh man. I had no idea what I was looking at, but but that was actually when I started. The ticker tape wasn't moving on the weekends, but that's just another thing.
Yeah, I got you.
I thought it was really cool.
So you, let's backtrack a little bit.
Sure.
So your dad was a trader. So you grew up, you weren't impoverished, let's put it that way, right?
No.
So
middle class, high middle class, if that's what you're asking.
Yeah. And then did your parents buy you guys cars? Did you share a car? How did that work with you and your brothers?
Geez, I know he didn't buy me a car. I had to buy my first car.
Which was what?
Oh, it's awesome. I had a 442 Olds.
Get out of here.
Convertible.
Get out of here.
Badass.
Nice.
So badass. It was like, again, I was probably 19 at the time, 20. And I always say this, I'll be going down, the rush street of Philly is called South Street. And I'd be going down South Street, and I'm making this up, Frank. A Lamborghini being behind me, and something obviously.
I got you.
And everybody be looking at the 442.
Yeah, it's a gorgeous car.
It is. Yeah. So, to the question, I don't know. I don't think my parents bought, my brother's cars.
Mm-hmm. I'm just curious.
Yeah.
I had Scott Cole on here, and his dad was a big shot at the exchange, and. He admitted he kind of grew up with a privilege. So his first car he bought a used Ferrari, which his dad was not happy with, and it was a hunk of junk. But
it wasn't a Volkswagen.
Yeah, I love cars, and I always take these little side trips with cars when I have people on. So, all right. So, and you and your brothers, you got along okay when you were growing up? Was it competitive amongst each other or no?
Again, we're talking on a podcast that Frank gave me the free invite to say whatever I want. The only time my brother got pissed off at me was when I was stealing his weed. I would
hold that against him.
I'll tell you, if you don't mind me sharing this. This is like he used to. Remember the old tackle boxes?
Yeah.
And again, it wasn't one of those. Just you open it up. You had like 2.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, my brother thought he was slick. He'd drill a hole in it, and then he put a padlock in it. Like a regular lock.
Yeah, I got you.
He didn't know that there was 2 hinges on the back.
Nice.
And I would just steal so much weed from him. I mean, really. And it was more then again, weed to Quaaludes. That's the only time we actually fought that I can remember.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right, so you're working as a young man on the floor, and then how does that evolve into, this is my occupation? Did you go to college first? No.
Shitty student, Frank. Shitty student. The only thing I cared about was sports and girls.
What kind of sports?
Football and baseball.
Mm.
Yeah, and girls, and then again, I think I was stoned from 7th grade to 12th grade.
Wow.
I'm not kidding. Straight through. Actually, not so. I started smoking in the 8th grade, so 8th to 12th. So basically, shitty student. No college in my my what do you call it, future.
And I have to pause you on this. How does the 8th grader get pot other than stealing it from his brother? Like, how did you guys?
Oh, you could buy it. Remember that when pot was like, again, Mexican, Colombian, Hawaiian. I mean, that was it.
Oh, the types, yeah.
But again, it wasn't like you had all this, whatever they have now. I mean,
no, I understand.
But my point is that people were selling it, or I would, again, if I didn't steal from my brother, we would get it from someone that was dealing. We had dealers.
We're probably right out in the school grounds, right? Or that fascinates me because I lived through the era of drugs. We're the same age. I mean, I'm an only child. I grew up with a bag of pot and a vial of cocaine on my kitchen table. Okay, I've never done a drug, really? So I think that's divine. Something happened to me, but I wasn't paying attention to drugs, so I didn't know where kids got it. So that fascinates me now that, like, in my era, which is our era, you could be in 8th grade and you could buy pot from somebody that probably was an 8th grader or something. You know what I mean?
There was no problem finding weed.
It's just fascinating to me.
And I wasn't in the crappy, it was in the main line. I don't know if that's good or bad, but this is like I said, middle class, high middle class.
Gotcha.
And still zero. There was no problem finding weed.
So sorry to sidetrack you there.
I will say this. I mean, it just pops in my mind that my brother, he comes in with this big photo that was, under glass and the lines. And he goes, "You want to do one?" And I go, "Dude, man, I'll never do that. I'll never do that. So get out of here." I just remember being like anti, and I'm like, okay, look at me from 18.
Hypocrisy would follow after that.
Geez, especially on the floor. I mean, it was just like, but again, I just remember like being Mr.
Righteous, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's funny. So you,
So basically my dad gets me a job on the Philly floor on the option side. Now the option side was just coming about. I mean, literally the size of the room, if you walk from one side to another, and again, this is going to 50 steps,
It's tiny.
Tiny. So we had a wall, the option, this side was the equity floor. So the night before, never forget this, I stared at the ceiling all night. Did not sleep 1 second. I was so nervous. Just like
the night before you started?
Night before I'm nervous being on Frank's podcast. I don't know what's more I'm nervous. So what's more intimidating, first day or with Frank?
Nah, get out of here.
So again, went to work and I just looked in and it was like home. It was like I was 7 years old again. Looking at, and I just it was just so incredibly awesome. The ticker tape and the people, and it was just an amazing feeling. I'll never forget. I can see it right now, my first day. So
now, were you still in high school or just finished high school?
Finished high school. I was 18 years old at the time.
Had you had any real jobs or part-time jobs up to that?
No.
Nothing. Okay.
Zero.
So this is like your first job.
Privilege. That's why work. Oh, I said girls and weed and sports. That's all I did for up to 12th grade. So yeah, it was just a magical moment. My brother both my brothers are there too. So it's not like I was walking on the floor and I didn't know anybody. My old man was someone, he was a big shot at that time because he was there 9 years already, and he was making a good living.
Did your brothers go to college or no?
Terry did not go to college, and my brother Matt went to Syracuse for 2 years, quit, came, worked on the floor, went back, and I think he went to, actually it's closed now. It's owned by Loyola, but it was Mundelein College where he went in Chicago and graduated. So yeah, we were more high schoolish than college-ish.
I gotcha.
If that's the right way of putting it. And my old man was a smart dude. He wanted to be a lawyer. And I wish I had time to ask my dad that, like why, but I never did. But yeah, he was really, not just saying that because he's my dad, but he was a smart dude. With the and this has a lot to do with my script, the opening bell, because it's both Philly and Chicago. They needed bodies. The Philly Exchange needed bodies. They didn't really care what you did as long as you could talk,
right,
and breathe, and your heart was beating. They would hire. So the Philly floor, the option floor was built by high school graduates, not college.
That's so interesting.
And then these same high school graduates built the Philly floor, because we started on the 17th and Sansom. Then we ended up on 19th and Market. And those two floors were day and night. This is like 17th and Sansom was like single A. Going to 19th and Market, again, I'll never forget that too, when we moved into the new building. This is major leagues. Remember, we're not comparing to Chicago.
Right.
That's major. That's, I shouldn't say AAA to single A to AAA, because the majors was Chicago all the time.
I got you. Yeah.
All the time. So, but I really, I'm proud to say that, in the sense of like, it was built, the option floor was built by high school kids.
And I want to take a sidebar about Philly. I've been here a couple times. That place looks like a rough town to me. Am I wrong about that? It looks like a rough and tough town. I'm
telling you right now that it's a different now. Remember, like now compared to the 70s and 80s, 70s and 80s was a tough town. And let me just, if you don't mind me sharing this with you, Frank, I lived in the main line. Okay, if anybody listening to this will know what the main line is. That's like, again, I'm not comparing the income to Hollywood, but it's the Hollywood of Pennsylvania. I was lucky. That's all there is to it. My old man, did his job, took care of his family. So I never experienced like South Philly, Southwest Philly, Kensington people. I never experienced that. Now, again, you might not think it's a big deal. You maybe compare something here in Chicago but I never experienced those type of people. So when I went on the floor, it was the UN. We had everybody there.
Right.
And I'm telling you, man, I was taught a lesson really quick. And the cool thing about it is, I'm 64 now, so this is decades ago, is they compliment us. Like, they brought us in. Like when I say they, I'm talking about Southwest, and Kensington. They accepted, because Main Line was a bunch of pricks to them. A bunch of stuck up little, whatever. Yep. Finish that sentence. So again, for me personally, again, I'm giving you these personal feelings about, I had no idea they existed. And when I got there, it was a learning experience, a learning curve. And I wasn't like, when I was in high school, I was sort of like the in control dude of my friends. When I graduated, I was no one. When you go from here to there.
Yeah, you were like the leader of your crew kind of in high school to,
exactly.
I'm a nobody now.
Nobody. And then on top of being a nobody, then I had these people that these personalities, these ethnicities that never really experienced before. Like an Irishman in the Main Line compared to an Irishman in Kensington?
Yeah.
You fucking kidding me? I'm like, so yeah, that was a big moment for me also on the floor. I had to swallow all my pride, and as a 19-year-old too, I mean, what pride do you have at 19 anyway? And what I was going to end up by saying is that they told me this like decades later that, we, with the Sullivans and, you guys, we accepted you into our world. And it was just like a huge compliment to me. I've only heard it maybe once or twice, but just once really made me feel good.
And now for the people watching, the trading floor is super competitive. It is like a jungle. And as soon as you walk on the floor, the forces testing you, they come at you right away. You have to develop a thick skin, because if you can't have your balls busted, right, without getting angry, you'll get eaten alive. You got to learn right away, like you got to get that thick skin. You might have had a little bit of it because of your dad probably had to have thick skin, and you're an athlete that probably helped you a little bit too, but they'll come at you right away.
Absolutely, Frank. And I'm just, again, having these flashbacks, but I have to be brutally frank with you that it took time for me on that, because I didn't get my balls busted because I was kind of like, I'm not saying I was 6'6" and 250. I'm just saying that I was a big sort of at that, remember being a high school student back then compared to a high school student now, it's day and night.
Okay. So what are your dimensions right now?
I'm 6'1", 235.
Okay, so you had to be pretty staunch in high school too. So
no, I'm saying I was 170
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was a skinny kid, but I was tall. But remember, it was different. Like 170, 75 playing the offensive line was like, hey, that's a big dude. Sort of like between, excuse me, 170 and 190. Now you have to be 240, 250
Yeah,
to be average.
Almost plus 100 off of that.
So again, that's where I'm saying it was a whole new experience for me when it comes to everything in life on the floor. Everything in life, from even to eating, was different. I'm sure you remember, like we didn't, again, I don't want to get off, as I call the highway here, but eating was just like, you were done eating in five minutes. You know, you didn't sit down really.
Now, on your exchange over there, like at the Merc, there was no eating on the floor allowed. You'd be fined.
No, we had a cafeteria in the back. But I'm just saying, you go in the back in the cafeteria, what would normally be a 15-minute meal.
Oh, yeah.
I was done in 3 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
And it wasn't like I was doing it on purpose. It was just a habit. I don't know if you've ever caught that later in life where you caught yourself eating fast.
Still do.
Yes, not even knowing you're doing it.
I actually have a dysfunction with eating because I used to go to lunch when I worked on the trading floor. And then, when I came back, if we got busy and, I was a broker and I'm screaming and yelling, I just felt like I was a step behind having the food in my belly and the athleticism required. So I quit eating lunch. So I don't eat breakfast or lunch to this day. I just eat dinner. I'm good that way.
No
I feel
lunch?
good. Mm-mm.
Okay, I'm not a breakfast person, but I have lunch.
But but I know what you're saying. You'll gobble stuff up just because your brain is already you're in high gear all day long.
And the thing is that we had on the Philly, we had a announcement or whatever you call it. When they wanted you, they go on the intercom.
Oh, they paid you, yeah.
Yeah, they paged.
Danny Sullivan, line 35. Danny Sullivan, right, like that.
Something like Danny Sullivan. Get the hell. Again, anybody could get on. That's the other thing. Anybody could get on. It wasn't just we had this. It was called the correction post, where the gals would work with they were employees of the floor of the Philly of the exchange. They weren't firm employees, and they just didn't have the ability to use intercom. Anybody, the whole floor could. So you'd hear that thing going off, making fun. Oh, it was just. It was a lot of fun. But the bottom line is, I'd be, you halfway through lunch and you get this thing like, Danny Sullivan, get back to your desk now. And then you'd have to leave half your lunch. So I kind of think that's how it you just never knew if it was coming at all, but you were called on the intercom. So you just like eat fast.
That's so interesting
that they could,
that they could say stuff. We just had, it was just a phone page.
No way.
That or a visitor.
Sure.
And we couldn't grab the PA system at all. So
complete control.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. Don't get me wrong. You couldn't get away because we had floor officials too, and if someone was, but we got away with so much. It was like it was a playground. It really is. It's just a great time. Dude,
all right. So you're on the floor and then take me through, your career.
Sure. Again, I've seen your podcast, Frank. I'm not going to be on the level of a lot of your guess. Basically, again, 18 on the option floor, ticket runner. This is sort of comical. I was making $50 a week. That's how much I was getting paid. It was only part-time for the summer. And then after like 30 days, my boss was named Paul Goldberg, a legend, an absolute legend. And then after Janie Montgomery Scott, that's who I was working for. This is where sort of like my life changed. And, to this day, whenever I do talk about it, I'd say, Frank, I wouldn't even be sitting here if I was still working for this gentleman. And it'll make sense in a second. So these 3-4 guys, they come on the floor, 19th Market, probably like 81. And the gentleman's name was professional gamblers from Vegas. Gentleman's name was Jeff Yas. Jeff Yas is a legend, an absolute legend in Philadelphia and all over the world, if you ask me. He's a wonderful human being. I can't say more than enough about the gentleman and Arthur Danchik. But either way, they come in and they're 24, 25 years old. And I'll jump ahead 10 minutes here. Jeff Yas is the CEO of Susquehanna International Group. And he's really done good for himself. But they needed a clerk, and I was there. So my claim to fame is I'm the first clerk ever for Jeff Yas in Susquehanna. And what I just said a minute ago, if I was still working for Jeff Yas, I would have my own island right now, and I'd be retired probably would have been retired at 40. So yeah, Jeff Yas was in my book. Now this is again personal here. So people from Philadelphia or SIBO, for me, he was the first one. And the first one to realize the theoretical value of an option. And he used to get this theoretical value of an option from a machine called the Monchek Weber. So without getting into all the details of how it worked, but basically that's what it is. So he'd give me a list of all the stocks, and then he'd give me a number for each month and each expiration, whatever. And that's how it all started with Jeff. He just tore it up.
Wow.
So obviously, if it's at 5/8 and the options were 3/4, he's just buying it up at 5/8 and locking in an eighth.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
I understand.
Okay, cool. So basically,
it's arbitrage, right?
Yeah, you could say that.
You're capturing the difference in the market in short time frames, right?
Like a spread. You're locking in.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Again, for me at that age, he wasn't just doing outright. He was doing the reversals, conversions, times, all that. And so, I remember again. Never forget. I'm the only one on this machine, and he cleared through FOC. I had the machine all to myself. Now, again, this is where I suck too. Is time. So was it 1 month? Was it 1 year? I don't know. But next thing I know, there's like 5 market makers, other traders wanted to be on the Weber, on the Monchek Weber, because they wanted to get on because they finally figured out that Jeff Yas is doing something. It's like
right.
It's like I'm thinking trading places. They're trying to corner the market, or that one scene at the end with Murphy and Aykroyd, Duke and Duke. And so for me, that was a moment working with Jeff Yas. And that's how we all got started. I mean, the gentleman's worth $45 billion now. He's
billion with a B.
With a B. He's worth, he's the number one, he's the wealthiest man in Pennsylvania. And his partner was Arthur Danchick, and another wonderful human being, can't say enough, and Eric Brooks. And and the rest is really kind of history with Jeff Yas. He's always stayed in Philadelphia. And, I'm very proud to say that if I show up, not too many $40 billion guys have time. So I was back in Philly a couple of years ago. I'm not patting myself on the back, but I just had a bet with this guy. He's like, there's no fucking way he's going to see you. You're wasting your time. I go, I bet you if I go in there, Jeff will come down and see me. And so I go there and actually I'm going to show him, I'm providing the script. And
which script?
The opening bell. He's in it. Obviously not his real name, but he's in the script, because these guys were just so incredibly interesting and amazing, and what they did for the floor. And again, without giving away the script. And so I walk up, and I'll never forget it, Frank. I walk up to the desk. I said, yeah, my name's Danny Sullivan. I'd like to see Jeff Yas. I'm telling you, they all looked at me like, yeah, sure.
Right.
Oh, again, it was like, it was so obvious. They all looked at me. There was like 5 of them too. They said, okay, sure. And so go wait over there. And next thing I know, it's like Susquehanna's right on the first floor. And I see this woman going back and forth, looking down at me. And, again, really didn't think anything of it. And then I comes down and she was just like, who are you and what do you want? I mean, just straight out, no smile, no nothing. I said, my name's Danny Sullivan. I used to work for Jeff, back on the floor. Took me right up. Then
nice.
Yeah. So I got in. Okay. And I'll end this. And again, I hope my friend who bet me this is going to listen to your podcast. The one that said, no way, he's not going to see you. This is like at 2:15 in the afternoon too. Okay. 2:30 maybe. And, coming to the close in some ways. And not just Jeff showed up, but Arthur came in too. It was just such a great moment.
Who's Arthur?
Arthur's his partner, Arthur Danchik. Just another, again, a wonderful guy. Just can't say enough. They have heart of gold, both of them, heart of gold. So I just couldn't wait. First of all, I'm like again, now at that, I was 62, and I swear, Frank, man, I was 19 21 all over again. I was so nervous, man, to see these guys. I even told them, I go, man, nothing's changed in 40 years. I'm still scared shitless of you guys. And they just look at me like, why? I go, I don't know, man. Because they're just so, again, well, you were probably worth 1 million back then. Now you're worth 40 billion now. So that probably makes a little difference. So again, just as you get older in life, little things, and this is, you appreciate, and this is one of the moments I was really like, when I walked out of there, man, I was just so happy. He took my script and so forth and so on. But yeah.
That's cool.
So with that, I hope I didn't go off script there for you, Frank, with Jeff. And then basically I left, believe it or not, won't get into that, went to work with Spare Leads on the stock desk in Philly on the floor in 1985. Basically said, my brothers went back to Chicago, and then I just packed up and went back, and I got a job with Goldberg Securities on the CBOE.
Right. So before we get to Chicago, you're on the floor as a teenager, and you told me what you were started at $50 a week.
Oh,
now take me through like how the income is progressing to like before you come to Chicago.
Frank, what a great question. If I didn't tell you this is like one of my magical moments too. Jeff hires me. They gave me $18,000 a year.
Holy shit.
18. I don't know if you've ever, like, I watch tons of Westerns, and then you see people go with like either two things that I always wanted to do. One is go to the bar and ask for the bottle and give me, ask for the bottle and sit down and just, that's all. So I'm going to still do it. I'll take that bottle and then just sit down. And the other one is buying everybody around. Everything's on me. I went to this, and I think I'm hoping I'm going to get this right. It was called City Tavern, right across the street from the floor, and I did it. I walked in, I go, on me. Drinks are on me. It was a great moment, and it was really the $18,000 a year.
Yeah, what a jump though.
What a jump. I was again, I was a rich man.
And then, so how did that progress? Did you have bonuses and stuff like that, or?
Okay, well, going back to again with Jeff, I'll tell you what. Again, this is when I was 21. My house burnt down, and he gave me $2,000. Now, again, $2,000. If you lose everything, and I basically did, it doesn't sound like a lot, but back then, that's like someone giving you $5,000 to $10,000.
Mm-hmm.
So $2,000 was a lot of money. Okay, another story again. This is a real, I don't know which one came first. They gave me, they always carried a wad of cash. I mean, just always wads and wads of cash.
In their pocket, right?
Yeah. I mean, he'd pull out, again, remember, I got to just reiterate that this is when you're at this age, it's not a big deal. But when you're at this age, it's like, oh my gosh.
Right.
So they said, go to the bank and deposit it. Somebody pickpocketed me. I lost it.
Oh,
do that like 15 times. That's how bad it was. Exactly, Frank. I came back, and then, the rumorville on the floor, how the floor works, especially if someone doesn't like you either, then I took it. And those guys basically never believed that shit. But again, I'll never forget that. And then the other thing they've done for me is they took me to the Super Bowl, and it was the Raiders and Skins. I think early 80s again, maybe 1, 2, 3, 81, 8. And that's when Marcus Allen went one way and then went up the gut, that long run. I don't know if you remember that or not.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he ran one way and then changed directions, then right up the gut and touchdown. And we were sitting right like in the end zone, looking right at it. So again, those are the things that this gentleman's did for me.
I want to pause right here just to flesh out the trading floor when you said, the rumors. So I was in a fast market. We had an error. It was a $2,500 error, right? And where, you get out of it, it's 100 ticks. You go, all right, I lost 100 ticks. And the guy standing next to me, my competitor, he saw that happen, right? Well, he must have told somebody. Well, within the hour, the guy standing to my left goes, hey, are you okay? I heard you lost $250,000 today. So this guy saw the $2,500 error. He told somebody, and by the time it traveled around the floor, I had lost $250,000. Wow. So that's
great.
That's how stories get exaggerated. Exactly. And then the pickpocket thing you reminded me of later in my career when I was a successful broker, I used to have a $1,000 Super Bowl pool, 100 squares, $1,000 a square. And people would come up to me in the pit and, I'd have like $20,000 in my pockets. I had it rolled up in my trading coat and stuff. And I would tell my clerks, you guys got to walk me to the car. Like, I don't want to get rolled. You know what I'm saying? So to your point, like,
but you didn't get rolled.
No, I never got pickpocketed or nothing. But I'd say I had an escort for that very reason.
Right. Sure.
So
yeah, these guys had that every day. They're playing it was just, again, here I'm exaggerating. It's just a lot of money.
Yeah,
just tons of money.
Was that from playing cards?
I don't know, man. They just made a shitload of money. They were in their mid-20s. They were the best at gambling, playing cards. I mean, the best. Again, I don't know where it came from, Frank, but I just know anytime they just pulled out money at that time. And then then you're like at that age, and then you expect that to be everywhere. You know what I mean? That's what the floor did. It really spoiled the shit out of me. The money, the drugs, the girls, the nightlife, the time. Oh my gosh. Not as good as Chicago. You literally could play 36 after the close during the July, probably couldn't do that with Chicago, with Philly because we got out at 4. But again, our hours were just incredible. Mm-hmm. That was the other thing that to this day, ours is, again, looking after my years on the floor, someone says you're going to have to work the 9 to 5. I'm like, fuck that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I didn't leave the pit too often early because I made my money on commission. I had to be there to fill orders, right?
Yeah.
To buy and sell. But still.
But the market closed. We
closed at 2 o'clock.
That's what
2 o'clock. Got plenty of time to play 18 holes. You know what I mean?
36. You could play literally 36.
And if it was slow, when we hit these slow pockets, you'd wave to the guy across the pit and you'd be like this. You'd put the golf grip, right? Like, where are we playing? So we get someone would call.
That's awesome.
We're gone. We're just like, we're going to play golf. It's 10 o'clock in the morning.
And how about the grain room? They started at what, 9 or 9:30 and got out at 1:30?
Right.
I mean,
these people are making like huge livings working part-time.
3 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours a day. Again, it is, there's just so many things at the floor, I don't know if good, bad, whatever, but being spoiled, Frank. We got spoiled.
100%.
It was literally a playground. It was, what do you call a college? Not that's girls. What's a fraternity? Yeah. I came into Chicago in 85. This is a great part of my life too, man. And I'll make this quick, Frank. So my buddy from the FOC moves to Chicago in 84. He was a roommate in Philly. And he goes, Danny, I got the rooftop to the Cub games. I'm like, oh shit. He goes, I need a roommate. That was the, let's go. I got to go home now. Because my mom and dad were there. So drove back, actually with my brother's friend. He was going to San Diego and he's still there actually. And we're coming down Euclid. And that was the day Arlington Arlington racetrack burned down. I'm going down Euclid, just ablaze. Okay, so that was my first introduction to, really Chicago. So basically, went to look at got to the apartment, and it was again, I'm in Philadelphia, and I got this thought it's going to be a beautiful. Again, I'm trying to pick the right words. A beautiful condominium or whatever you call it. Shit hole. I mean, shit hole. Oh my gosh. And if anybody's seen the Blues Brothers, again, yes, a little exaggeration, but there's a part where the L goes by and things start to shake. Well, I have the closest room to the L. And I'll never forget this first night. My headboard of the bed hitting the wall. Fuck this. I'm out of here. I had my mind made up. I'm out of here. Next day, I climb up the ladder because we had to climb up a ladder to get to the roof. And there it was, Wrigley Field. And I said to myself, I ain't going fucking anywhere. It was literally the best 4 years of my life when it comes to, again, sex, drugs, and rock and roll. That's all there is to it. And so again, really quick. So I get quoted. Okay, so now again, at that time with Goldberg, that was,
what'd you do there?
Just a stock clerk, getting quotes. And
were you making decent coin or just enough to get by? Well, how would you?
You know what? I would say it was probably 22, 24.
Yeah, so you're not breaking the bank or nothing.
Well, guess how much I'm paying for rent again, across the street from Willie. I was paying $200 a month.
Wow.
So 24 grand again. It's a lot of money with no overhead.
Yeah.
I think it's a 305 game. It was like one of those later ones. And we started drinking, Frank, it was just all booze. We were drinking every game. And Rick Tarlinger comes up. Remember Rick Tarlinger? For the Sun-Times, he was a sports writer.
Yeah, no, I don't remember.
Okay, big name. And he's working for Sports Illustrated at the time. And he goes, he starts asking questions. Remember what I said, 305 game, I'm drinking since 11. And he says like something, again, he says something about, I think something to do with women or whatever. I can't remember. Boy, oh boy, I can't remember. But I do remember my answer. And I said, well, when I go to a woman at a bar, phew, it's so easy. Okay, that's it. I get a call. I'm on the Board of Trade now. Again, I'm an ARB clerk in the 30 year, and I get a call from Sports Illustrated. Again, remember drinking, don't remember really much. And they go, Sports Illustrated's on the phone, and I go, we want to quote you. I go, what did I say? They go, blah 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 blah. Phew, it's so easy. I said, no, you don't have my permission. I hang up. So then my roommate, California guy that I met on the Philly floor, that was our third. He came into to the SIBO, big name too. He opened up the operation on the SIBO. Again, can't remember, but a really big name. And it's the first time I've ever heard dude. Again, dude is used so much in the last 20, 30 years or whatever. I said, Bobby, man, I go, blah, blah, blah. I go, this is what he goes, dude, you got to go for it. He just said it like, and I called back Sports Illustrated. I go, okay, go ahead, run it. Okay, I'm almost done, Frank. And so now Sports Illustrated comes out. I run down, and between the CBO and the Board of Trade was just like a 5 and 10. Everybody that's going to be listening knows where that little, was during the long hallway on the Board of Trade side before you cross Van Buren to get to the SIBO. I go, fuck. I went, oh my gosh. So I go to my buddy.
You were reading your quote.
Oh, Frank, because I know the floor. I'm done. So then I tell Eddie. Again, I haven't seen Eddie since I said this to him. He was like, we're like, how it is. And I said, Eddie, you got to do me a favor, man. You can't tell anyone this. Dumbest.
Oh, you told everybody.
He actually went and made copies of it. Okay, so here, I'll wrap this up. So basically, I'm on the pit, on the steps, and women are walking by me going, like really going, who the fuck are you?
Like sizing you up because of what you said, right?
100%, man. I'm begging the Mulvilles. That's who I used to work with, Terry and Brian Mulville. And I said, guys, please let me go home. They're like, no, you're not going home. Leaving the floor, I used to cut through like the 5-year, 10-year notes to get to the exit. That fucking asshole, all over the place. The copy of the article, just like the tickets from the trading tickets. I'm looking at my copies of the article from that dickhead, that Eddie, and so basically that's one of my 10 minutes of fame or whatever, because I got calls. This is like I was in the phone book. I got calls everywhere, from everywhere around the country. Even got one from Australia.
What kind of calls?
Can I come on the roof? Can I come? Danny Sullivan from 30. I'll send you. I'll email it. Danny Sullivan, 3645 North Sheffield. Blah 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 blah. And then so yeah, they just got my name, my address, and I got. I'm telling you,
you became a celebrity.
Celebrity. I mean, again, my 10 minutes of fame. That's all.
Yeah.
Not a celebrity by no means, but either way, it was a it was a really cool.
That's an awesome story.
Really cool moment for me.
But you got the big ball bust on the trading floor. They all like with the.
They just. And it lasted more than just one day, It lasted more than that. Like, they come and bust my balls and go, so easy, huh? So easy, huh? Just like giving me that shit. And so, yeah, it was, I had the rooftop for 4 years. It was 8/8/88 was the first night game. And I was gone by then. I just had to go. It was a lot of partying for me. Again, it was what is there, 183 games a season, something like that, 81, 83. So divide that, and that's how many times I was drinking. It was so much fun.
That's crazy. I want to share a story with you. Like,
go for it.
So you had to develop thick skin to go through that ball busting thing. We had a girl on the trading floor. She was smoking hot, and we all loved her, right? And this particular day, it was my birthday. Okay. So one of my guys, he's one of my best friends. They had planned they were going to pie me in the face, right? And they told the whole floor, like, watch the clock at 1:15 or whatever it was, and nothing was going on. And my Andy goes, Frank, look at Susie. And I turned to look at Susie, and he timed the pie so perfect, I couldn't even close my eyes. It hit me with my eyes open, and the whole floor went crazy. And it was like Bozo the Circus. I did one of these,
right.
Getting this stuff out of my eyes, and
that's great.
I walked off the floor. I gave him a look. His head pie all over me. I cleaned up. I came back on the floor, and everybody applauded again. You know
right.
what I say?
Sure.
And I just whispered to Zara, I'll get you back. Bad. I was really pissed, but you let that stuff slide. But that was the most embarrassed I've ever been in my life. Getting pied in front of 2,500 of my closest friends.
Now the question is, did you get back?
I probably not.
Okay.
I might have played a practical joke on him, but I wouldn't have pied him or nothing.
What kind of pie? Do you remember that?
It was a cream pie. I don't know what kind, but
okay.
Yeah, he hit it perfectly. So
any photos?
No, we back then we didn't have the camera phones or nothing.
Right.
So
okay.
And I don't think they liked you to take pictures on the floor either. So you had to have press pass or something like that.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. We back to the Philly really quick. We used to do pranks all the time, and one of the pranks that was just done all the time was powdering someone's shoes. Did you do that on the Merc?
No, I'll tell you what we did though. What's the powdering shoes?
Taking baking soda or what's this, baby powder, whatever, and then everybody.
So somebody would be standing there, and someone would be at their feet powdering their feet, right?
All their feet. And
that's hilarious.
And everybody would be like, "Snowing in Philly, snowing in Philly." And anytime someone said "snowing in Philly," every head on the floor would look down to see if they got powdered. So that was, and then. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, so we had something similar to that. It'd be, we call them gum traps. You'd take a wad of gum out of your mouth and you'd put it in a trading card, and you'd fold the trading card like this, and then you'd open it. Yeah. So the gum would be uniformly across, and you'd throw the card on the floor, and then somebody would step on it and it would be stuck to their foot. And everybody would get pissed off. It happened to me a bunch of times. So like, guys are a bunch of assholes. But then we did another thing called shark. So we took a trading card and we cut a shark fin out of it, and we folded it in such a way that you could tuck it underneath somebody's collar as they were walking by. And then it became more advanced, and they would put tape on there too.
Yeah.
And then so you'd be walking around with a shark fin on your back, and people would be yelling, "Shark, shark," just like you guys with the snowing thing.
Right.
And then, you'd instinctively reach back to see if you had a shark fin on. And then of course it got a little more raunchy, and they made the shark fins, then they turned into penises. So you guys walking around with penises on their back.
Like I said, it's like a fraternity house. Really quick on that I just remembered, we used to put stirrups Like
Yeah, we did that too.
on the back of their
With the trading cards you made, right? Yeah, we did that.
And last but not least would be
What did you say though? We would go yeehaw, yeehaw like that.
Yeah. Again, the tickets, you'd have the 3 and then with carbon copy.
Yeah.
Remember the old carbon copy, man. And you just like kind of rip it up into like this. And we'd so like you think about it, we'd put it in the belts, the loops back here. We'd go, and you'd be walking around.
It's silly.
Stupid. This is what happens when it's really slow, like what are we going to do here? So we just turn into, we all turn into kids, even though we were kids anyway.
Did you ever have the Friday beach ball? On Fridays, someone would bring in, they'd inflate a big beach ball, and we would just and go. And the security people would be trying to chase it down, and we'd hit it that way,
No, we never.
Stupid stuff.
That's a good one. I never heard that one before.
And then and this would usually be on Fridays, we'd have a bag of fives. What's a bag of fives? You just put in a $5 bill with your name on it in a bag, right?
Yeah.
And then they'd pick a winner. Then it became, bag of 20s. Then it became bag of hundreds, right? So just there was a boring Friday. We're getting close to the closing, and just someone would walk around. But we're doing bag of hundreds here, and I put my badge, pump on there, and I throw it in there, and they pull a winner. Just crazy stuff.
What would be the biggest reward if someone picked it? Are you talking about that everybody put in $100 in a bag, and then whoever picked it?
Yeah, whose ever bill it was, they won the whole bag of hundreds. Yeah, so
yeah. So how much was the biggest? Do you know?
It's probably a couple grand would be in there.
Okay,
know. So
I was just gonna say is I think it started more on the SIBO than the Philly, and you're gonna know this, but it was just sort of like fun to play. Was the death pool? You know what the death pool is?
No,
the death pool is like, let's just say back then George Burns and Milton Berle, and they're all still living. There'd be who's going to die next. So if George Burns went, they check and see who had George Burns, and they
sick.
They would win the pool. It's called the death pool.
That high stress environment, which was like gambling. We gambled on everything. We bet on everything, right?
Absolutely.
We had they bet a guy, Chris Lang, dear friend, could you throw a softball over the river? He did. He threw it over the Chicago River from end to end. I bet a guy that I could beat him with just a putter. I'd play him a golf hole, and I would just use a putter, and I beat him. He treated me to dinner.
Okay, wait. With the putter, you're actually putting?
I'm playing the whole hole with just a putter, and he could use his whole set of clubs. We made the bet, and I went to the driving range, and I was practicing hitting all kinds of shots with this putter that I had.
You beat him?
Yeah, I beat him. He picked a hole over a ravine that had a creek, thinking like, I'm going to dribble it in the creek. And I hit a bullet across, and it hit the hill, and it bounced. It shot up and landed like 10 feet from the stick. I couldn't hit a better shot with an 8-iron. You know what I'm saying? He's like, fuck you,
How much was that? Do you remember?
It was dinner, dinner at Morton's. Okay. And then I bet another guy that I could beat him. I was going to give him 18 shots. But he had to carry his clubs and walk the golf course. He was a big muscle head.
Yeah.
And I always walked and carried. We went to his home course. It was like 88 and like 80% humidity that day. He just fizzled out. So he took me and my wife to Morton's too. But we had some crazy bets. One guy, we found a big dead roach on the floor. And he found it. How much you give me to eat this? He raised like $3,000. He ate it like he was eating a Godiva chocolate right in front of everybody. So
okay, so I got to say, you ended it what I was just going to start, and that is there was a bet with someone that there was a cockroach on the Philly floor, and some ticket runner came up and no problem. He won he won like $3 to $4 grand somewhere in there, a lot of money. Where a couple others chickened out, they didn't do it. But this guy came up, was like, no problem. So yeah, we had the cockroach eater too.
Yeah. Are you a golfer?
Nah, I used to, my 20s and 30s, but got married and had kids. That ended that.
Yeah. My wife told me when we started having kids, oh, don't worry, you'll be able to play golf whenever you want. And I'm like, yeah.
Yeah.
She was good though, actually. On the floor days, I was getting like 50 rounds of golf in a year. That's pretty good.
What's your handicap?
The best I ever had was like 5. So I break 80 most of the time, but nothing special.
So my thing was back in the days, if I broke 100, I was really happy.
I got to share this funny story with you. So one of the small traders, Brian Shannon, nice guy, great golfer. He couldn't hit the ball far, but he could chip and putt. He was the best golfer, and he took the brokers out. So it's me and my competitor and another broker. And we get to the last hole, and now Brian, he maybe hits his drives 250, right? And we're bombing him 275 plus, but he was beating us. So we get to the last hole, and my competitor, Larry, he just bombed a drive. And then he hit a 7-iron. And after he hit the 7-iron, he goes, driver, 7-iron. Any questions, right? So we get to the hole, we finish the hole, and Larry bogeyed. And Brian goes, driver, 3-wood, pitching wedge, par. Any questions? He beat him by a shot.
That's great.
So hilarious.
That's great.
Another great ball bust. So, all right. So now let's get back to the story here. We took a bunch of side trips there. So you moved out of the rooftop place.
I got out. Hey, well, I'm at the Board of Trade there. I remember going over the Merc, just so you know. I think I told you this, and I go, there's no fucking way I'm working on this floor, man. It was probably like right during a number, and I saw what was happening. I go, I ain't getting in the middle of that shit for.
Did it seem more chaotic? Is that why?
100%. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it was just because it was foreign to me. You know what I mean? It wasn't my home turf, and that would be the SIBO and the board for the most part.
Yeah, I never worked at the board, but everybody I know who worked at the board and came to the Merc, they all had loyalty to the board. They always said the board was a better place. The people were more righteous, if that's the right word.
Well, you know what your nickname was, right?
Our nickname? No.
Yeah, the Merc Jerks.
Oh, the Merc Jerks. Yeah, that's right.
It's just true. I felt very comfortable because it was Irish. It's all Irish. I mean, really all Irish, especially in the 30 year. I don't know about the grains or anything like that, but yeah, the Board of Trade was
Was the 30 year or a Baldwin was?
Yes. I don't know if he was in the option or the future, but yeah.
Yeah, we always heard about him boy. Like he was a monster.
Big boy. So yeah, that's why I felt really comfortable. And then on the CBOE, it's just because I had a lot of friends there. I had more friends on the SIBO than the board, but so I have more friends from Philly but putting those two together actually.
So you didn't spend time on the Merc floor then?
No, like I said, I can see it right now, Frank. All those fucking yellow jackets.
What were you watching? At what pit? Do you remember? Was it the Spoos or?
I would probably have to say it was definitely not commodities. So it was probably the S&P 500.
Okay.
Because it was just big and loud. And
yeah, that S&P pit was intimidating to me. And I was career on the floor. I'd be like, no way I would ever go in that pit.
I was obviously standing at the desk, and it was high. The pit's higher because it just felt like a tidal wave. It looked like a tidal wave coming at me, of yellow jackets and yelling and screaming. And I just said right there and then, I go, I'm not working on here. So yeah, I pussied out. There's no doubt about it. So really, again, I spent again, my, I just want to, it's not going to be so exciting, Frank. It's basically there. And then my dad, he worked on the Chicago Stock Exchange, and I took some time off in between because I just kind of got out, and then he talked me into coming back in, and it's not like he really talked me into it. It's just like we've been talking about this, and then we opened up our little boutique on the Chicago Stock Exchange.
And tell me about what is that about?
Basically, it was just execution, being a broker, and what I would do is, my dad was basically at the end was dying of lung cancer. He had a cigar in his mouth 24/7 for 30 years. And so I would go out and get business. So I go to New York and the P Coast and just drum up business for both equity and options. And I wasn't really on the floor taking orders or anything. I was there. I did it. But we had a gentleman named, ironically, another Sullivan, Bill Sullivan, that was want to say a legend, but he was just on the floor for decades. So it was Bill, myself, and my father. We called the Sullivan Group. And yeah, I mean, if it wasn't my dad and Billy on the floor, I would be just bullshitting.
Mhm.
I go on the SIBO and talk to the people that we were doing business with and seeing how everything go. I got really close to a gentleman named Marty Gallivan who did for GVN Options. Another wonderful human being, great guy, man. Love Marty. And Tommy Wesson, he's no longer with us. And I can't remember Frank, he was another partner. But yeah, they were one of the big brokers on the CBOE at the time. And they were doing our business. And most of it was in the SPOOs.
So at that juncture, are you making good dough doing that?
Yeah. This is where highlight reel. Yeah, I was making over 100K with that. Just, not really a salary, just commission.
Right. And you're not trading the market. You're not really taking any risk either, right?
Fuck no. I got the gift of gab. And I could, again, that's where I shined. Wasn't figuring out what a fucking conversion was in a half a second. No, I probably need a couple of weeks for that. I couldn't think that's why the way I think about the Yases of the world and a lot of my friends, it's like, boy, oh boy, all my friends were traders, more traders than brokers. It's just amazing to me how they can figure something out like that. I just wish I had that gift. My gift was that. And I just ran with it.
That's why I laughed at you when you said, you were nervous to come here. I'm like, dude, we're both talkers. It's like,
I know, but I don't have I'm just thinking at that time, I just don't have the stories like your other guests have.
So this takes you for the boutique.
You can't ask me years on this.
No. I'm not asking yours, but that took you to the end of your floor career, correct?
Took me to the end of the floor career, and my father passed away, so I decided to close shop. And then where I went was upstairs to trade arbitrage with the commodities like the oil and wheat and crude. What's the other oil? The soybean, whatever the fuck. Here I go. So yeah, I did that for a long time, and that was fun. But it was really sort of like weird going from the floor to upstairs. It took a long time for me to adapt.
Now,
just a hard.
Did you transition out of the party lifestyle, or did you always maintain that?
Well, I got married and started having kids. So yeah, I mean, I listen. I did a lot of bad stuff with the drugs. Nothing took control of me. You know what I mean? It wasn't like I had a problem or anything like that. I just was having fun, like everybody else was down there. But in the sense of did the partying keep going? No. I mean, the only thing I was drinking for the most part.
Some people, the partying never went away.
My last name is Sullivan. What can I say, man? So either way, it was a lot. It was really that was fun, actually, making some good money. Then that came to an end, and then I'm at the gym. Well, do you want to ask me any? I mean, kind of coming to mind.
I want to tell me why it came to an end. Like what happened there? Did you just lose your zeal for it, or
kind of? That's yeah. It's fun. It's hard to explain. But when we called it the trade, and if I could explain it today, I can't. I should. But either way, what we would do is it would be arbitrage with let's just say crude, and just to cut to the chase, when the trade was done, we'd make $10. That's it. It was $10. Once we executed this, and that, $10. And if two of them got filled, and you were hung on the other option, then you'd have to trade your way out of it. You could make more than $10, or where you got hung, you could lose $50. If you want to get out, you get out. You lose $50. So it wasn't like you're losing a lot of money. You're not. But when you're doing hundreds and hundreds a day, that's what we were doing. I mean, I'm telling you, man, I remember weed opening up. This was just one morning. Why it stands out, I have no idea. It's probably because I think I make $5,000, $10,000 in literally a blink of an eye. felt. It just, weed opens and we just let it go. And it just keeps going and going and going. I'm looking at 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, just going up and up and up and up. And then like literally, again, blink of an eye, exaggeration as you all know, but maybe 3 minutes later, 4 minutes later, I look and I didn't do anything. It was just like, gosh, your brain totally plays games with you. I'm going to retire in 2 years. I'm going to go get a new car. I'm going to buy a new house. I'm going to, just by that one morning. But, and again, prior, obviously, this isn't my first day ever doing this, but it was working a lot. And you asked me why, and it stopped working. It just stopped working. People caught onto it. The big boys caught onto it. And again, that was extremely disappointing because once that went away, there was nothing I could do. I wasn't an option trader. I wasn't a stock trader. You know, again, you could get jobs like that back then too, but probably have to bring in your own equity or whatever. That was it.
You were faced with what a lot of us went through, and that is this system of things has come to an end or coming to an end. Like there's nothing left to do down here. There's nothing. And so you got to you really think about at this age, how am I going to reinvent myself? What am I going to do? Neither of us have a college degree, right? So pretty interesting.
Yeah. Now, Frank, you're bringing me to a time in my life where it really kind of was scary and sad.
Yeah.
Because when I left the floor, that was bad enough. Going upstairs, I just thought, what the fuck? These are the people we used to laugh at. I say laugh at. I always say this. I'd be at a bar. I think I even told you this. And guy on my left, upstairs trader. Guy on my right, worked on the floor. I'd say hi, wouldn't be a dick, but I'd spend 99.9% talking to this guy. It's just the loyalty that I have personally with floor people.
It's a different animal completely.
Again, I look at him, I miss it. I could do it. I could go back in time. I'd do it in a freaking heartbeat. So basically that's it. So now I'm at the gym and this guy says, yeah, we got to know him. I got to know him. He goes, I'm in trucking logistics. And he said, you'd be perfect for this. And I got into trucking logistics.
Still doing that now?
Kind of. Yeah, kind of. But if there isn't anything else on the floor we'd like to discuss, because I could keep talking the floor if you want, but I'll tell you what I'm doing right now.
That's what I want to get to. And the why. What and the why. The why is super important, but tell us what you're doing now.
Okay,
that you're so passionate about, which I love.
I have no idea how passionate I am. I had, again, obviously no experience in the entertainment industry, film and TV. Did not know one person. And I'm watching something stupid. And again, Light Below Zero. It's a reality show on Discovery or Summit. And I'm like thinking, and it's about 5 families that are surviving in Alaska, and they're all going to get eaten by wolves or die of the weather, just again. And I thought, why don't you make a reality show about trading? My brain just started thinking about this because I'm thinking 5 families. Well, why don't you replace 5 families with 5 day traders? And then like anything else, the rest is history, but this is like 5 years ago. And so at that time, got to admit, it was a reality show. That was my first thought. But then I get Joe Frazier hook. Bam. I go, the floor. It's time. No one's doing it. 0. There's not one. If you check all of cinema history, nothing has been done on the floor. Now, again, people are going to say, well, what about the documentary, The Floored? Okay, that's a documentary. Some people think that's a film. No, it's a documentary. And then you have to go back to Trading Places. And
the movie Trading Places, yeah.
I'm sorry, the movie Trading Places. And that's 3 or something, 84. And then you're going to say, oh, what about this? Fearless Day Off, whatever it's called. Yeah, he's on the SIBO, I think, and he's behind the guest with the glass, and he's doing his hand signal.
Yep, Ferris Bueller.
Yeah. So my thing is, sure, the floor has been, in a movie or maybe a TV show, but it's never been the main character.
Mm-hmm.
So I always bring this up to people that, I'm speaking to about it. And I always ask them, like, have you ever watched Yellowstone? And I'd say 70 to 80% say yes, they know what Yellowstone is. I go, well, who's the main character in Yellowstone? 9.9 out of 10 say, oh, it's Kevin Costner. I go, no, it isn't. I go, it's the ranch. The ranch is the main character. Here's the ranch. Then all the storylines blossom from the ranch. So what I did was I said, I'm going to take that same analogy, but I'm going to replace the ranch with the floor. Floor is the ranch. All my stories blossom from there. You can't have a 2-hour movie all on the floor. You can, but kind of tough. So you have to have. Got a question?
No, I'm agreeing with you. Yeah,
you can't. It's just sure you can maybe get away with it, but if you want to be successful, you have to play the entertainment world, and you got to take storylines. And I'm speaking to everybody that's listening. How many storylines did just you and I have? I mean, how many storylines do we have? Now, again, a storyline could be 1 minute long. It could be 10 minutes long. But how many do we have? And then there are storylines that you and I have forgotten. If you started to talk to the guy over here from the that used to work on the Merc, he's going to jog your memory and you're going to go, what the fuck? That's right. You have no idea how many times I've, especially with the podcast, you get people that haven't thought these thoughts in such a long time, and then all of a sudden they're coming back to them. So my point is, again, is how many storylines are out there? There's a movie. Again, silly example. There's a movie came out in the mid-'80s. It was called The Never-Ending Story. It's a movie.
I saw that at the show when it came out.
There you go. That's the floor, Frank. That's it. The Never-Ending Story.
And see, like, what I love here is every person that we ever knew down there is a storyline. You have to pick and choose how you want to weave them in. Because I knew a lot of people. I knew their whole story. I knew about their relationships. I knew about their hardships. You know what I mean? Like, every person is a storyline that you can weave into the fabric of your show, just a matter of what you want to pick. It's 100%.
Infinite. There you go. Infinite. I mean, again, while you're saying that, and that's just Frank Lardino. How about the other thousands and thousands? Again, I don't know if it's tens of thousands of people that worked on the floor from the Pecos to New York. I mean, how many it's just, again. So what I did is I remember at the very beginning, I had to be told this, Danny, you can't make a fucking movie about storylines. You got to have a story. Because I kept on like selling myself. I go, story like I'm doing right now with you. But your response back was perfect because it's really more pick and choose that story. So what story do I know the best? I go, fuck it. My story. The Sullivans. But then I had to bend the knee with Hollywood. And again, won't get into that right now. You have to bend the knee. So that's what I did. I started just, again, long. And I told you, Frank, I ain't a fucking student. I suck. I really, especially writing. Oh my gosh. And I had to become a writer. And I did it. Now, again, I've had help, don't get me wrong, but with the opening bell, all the trading scenes are my idea and my writing. And then, again, I had a lot of help, and I don't want to put anybody else down, but I did a shitload of writing that I never thought I could do. And
so let me ask you this, though. How do you like to write? Like, do you write on a pad of paper? Do you write on a Word document? Do you like to be in an office, or can you be sitting on the couch on a laptop? Like, how do you actually like to write?
I write we did this through, believe it or not, made it very simple, Google Docs. The gentleman that helped me write everything that he was involved in, I'm going to speak about one film. So we're going to be here all day, Frank, he would write. I was very naive at the very beginning because I thought, again, very naive and gullible, that I'm going to tell someone to write my story. He's going to write it and everything's going to be perfect. Everything's okay. No, it was literally completely the opposite. So he's writing, we go 10 pages at a time. And again, I'm having a little sort of like flashbacks again, how incredibly hard this was. He would send me 10 pages. I would rewrite the whole thing. Send me another 10, rewrite the whole thing. And when it came to all the trading, because he didn't know what the difference between a call and a put was. So if you kind of like think about that, I don't know if any writers are out there, but if this person does not know anything, and let's just use the floor as an example, knows nothing about trading, nothing, and you're asking him to write a story for you.
They can't help you.
Can't do it.
They actually hurt you, right? Because you got to redo stuff.
The gentleman that helped me, again, I got to put this in bold caps. Great guy. Friends. Richard, if you're hearing this, look at me. I'm looking over there. Richard, if you're listening, great guy. But he had no clue. He had no clue, zero clue. So I had to do all the writing. I mean, again, yes, he did help write. He's probably rolling his eyes right now. But for the most part, he knows that I did all the trading and scenes and his ideas. I came up with some ideas that we both worked on together. We did that on Google Docs, Frank. So basically, he'd write the script, and then here you make all the notes and everything else. And it's very simple. We did it that way. So I did it on a computer, if you're asking me. I didn't use a pen or anything like that. Now it took about 3-4 months to write.
So I'm a writer now too. So I was good in school, but I didn't like writing, and something happened to me. So I wrote a book, and I'm on book number 2. The way I like to write is, number 1, I tell myself, get some writing done every day, because it's easy. Once you fall out of it, it's 5-6 days in a row I didn't write anything, and then you lose the memory and the train of thought you were at.
Yeah.
So I just said, write something every day, even if it's a sentence. So every day in this office, I was dedicated to write something. So I'd pull up the document I did on a Word document. I'd look where I left off, and I'd start typing. And sometimes it was shitty, right? It'd be like, I know I'm forcing myself to put content in the book, and this isn't good, but at least I'm putting something in it. And then the next day I'd come back and go, oh yeah, that's shit. And then I'd rewrite it. But so I'm just giving you my little methodologies that help me make sure I get some writing done every day. Right? Because I wanted to finish the book. And this was the environment. I didn't write anywhere else. I didn't pull over and go, oh, I got an idea or whatever. But I would email myself if I had an idea, like, hey, put this in the book. And I'd send an email to myself, and I'd put a couple little notes in. So,
you know what I did too? I would do that, but I would use the recorder.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd talk into the recording. I did that a lot, just to remind me. Well, the question, Frank, is, do you like writing? I mean, it's a simple question. Do you like writing?
I love it now. Yeah.
Yeah. See, oh my God, I love it. No, I don't like it. I don't, if I don't have to write another.
Really? That's so interesting. But
0.
But you're a talker, and you love to tell stories, and you're good at it, right? So you have to translate the stories into the written word, which I'm sure is good.
But tell me, talking and writing, don't you say it's day and night?
Oh, it's definitely 2 different skills.
Oh, I could do this all. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Writing. Oh, look at me. I'm like a little bitch here. It's just not something that I was forced to do. And again, okay, a little pat on my back. Was I proud that I was coming up with this stuff? Like coming up with these ideas and being able to put it in writing and sound like I was really a writer? Yeah. I always go back to what I said from the very beginning. I was not a student. I was not a writer. I was math, science, whatever you want to call it. I just was not a student. So yes, but do I wake up in the morning and go, oh gosh, I get to write? Fuck no. I'd rather watch the Bears game.
So it's interesting, because when you're writing a script, it's completely different than me writing my thoughts, because you have to actually describe the emotion. He's standing there, he's sweating, whatever, his body temperature is raising. You have to. There
you go, Frank.
And it's hard to do that.
There you go. You just hit out of the ballpark. You have to put, well, again, maybe in writing too, but it's a difference between writing a novel and writing a script. I've just used novel or whatever, mystery, whatever. You have to, well, maybe not. I see. Let's just move on. I just don't enjoy it. I did it. And right now, Frank, I am with with the film, I have a director, I have a production company and a producer all ready to go.
This is your movie, the opening bell.
The opening bell. I'm raising capital right now. If I get anybody's attention here, what I want to do, Frank, is this is just the beginning. I mean, this is just the beginning. I feel that the floor, because of what we talked about before with the never-ending stories, but you take those never-ending stories and put it on a script, it's still a never-ending story, or as you put it, infinity. So what I did again was just my story, but then I brought in like a Jeff Yas and other characters. I had to make up characters, and Richard too. We made up fictitious characters to bring in also. So it's just not all like floor like those. We have to, like I said, you have to think as in Hollywood. So because that's who's reading your script, obviously. It's not floor people reading your script. It's Hollywood. So what I'm doing is I want to create a film fund. I want to create a production company that is specifically in the financial space. My financial space obviously is trading, also the floor. And I just, again, I'm an optimist. I mean, big time optimist, is that I feel that if done correctly, and I really like this director. He just got done doing Fog of War and Clawfoot. He's worked with Milo Gibson and I can never pronounce her name, Francesca Eastwood, I think, and then Cusack and the gal from one of the Marvels. I can't. No, not Marvel. Okay. So either way, just he's a good director. He's young and he loves the script. And it's not going to be a Marvel type of $250 million. We can get it done. What's a good word for inexpensively? It's just not, we don't have to pay.
Economically.
Yeah, thank you very much. And with the money that we feel we can get it done, we're not talking about B-listers. We're talking A-listers that will want to be in this movie.
Do you have any actors like ultimately you'd like?
You know what? Oh, what a great question, Frank. I really don't right now. I do have a pitch deck that I have them in there, but it's again, my mind changes like every time I see someone on TV. I go, that would be a great Mickey. That would be a great, So no, not set in stone. Not set in stone. And that's one thing that I have to listen to is the production company. One thing I told him, I go, listen, you can fuck around with the love scenes that I have in there, if you want to call love scenes, or the other scene here or that shit, but you're not fucking around with the floor scenes. You're not going to dick around with that. You're not going to cut corners. The floor scenes are going to be as realistic as possible. And the director, Michael, said, no problem. I mean, that was one of the things and very adamant about. And he said, no problem. I go, okay. Just want to let you know on that. So again, I just throw in, I go, Mike, I can make, okay, a little exaggerated, make calls. I could fill that pit up in that movie scene. I can literally put something on LinkedIn, Facebook, or whatever, and I guarantee you I could get 300 ex-traders in that pit. Like that.
100%.
Like that. And he's really psyched to do this. He's really, really, really excited. But again, I just want to make that very clear, that especially to people that are watching, that this is really important to me. And what's really important to me is the floor. I really want people out there to be proud. And that's my goal, is to get proud.
So I'm going to commend you for trying to preserve the history of this trading floor. And even people who have never been down there, they find it fascinating. Lifestyle, pressure. How many people have you known in your life that their friends, family, and they just had this perception of mayhem, right? Oh, you work on the floor, it's mayhem, right? So the way I look at the floor, and why I think it's so interesting, is that the floor is like a microcosm of the world. It encompasses every single facet of life, but it's in a concentrated thing, and it's also amplified, right? Things move fast, stress is higher, competition is more, the worst of mankind comes out, the best of mankind comes out, and it all happens at high volume. You know what I mean?
You know what I'm thinking right now? You're going to be a narrator. What you just said will be the opening. Hey, you think I'm shitting with you? What you just said with the narration moving into the film.
Well, I'd love to help you on this stuff because I do like writing, and I've been on the floor. So
just remember what you just said there. Just imagine, like,
I will, because
just think film. That's what I do. I think film, TV. That your voice with that type of, and then going right into the first scene of the craziness.
I'm in.
Who the fuck wouldn't like that? And here's the other thing too that I like when you talk, Frank, makes me think, is when you talk to an investor, what's the most important part of an investment when it comes to film for the most part is viewers. They want viewers. You don't have viewers, they don't pay it. So viewers. Okay, so now you said something really important is that let's just go back to what you said about when you talk to someone that wasn't even on the floor, but they saw floor stuff on TV or something like that, and they go, I can't believe you did that. You did that for a living? I mean, I'll say it right now. Remember, I'm much older, blah, blah, but women, I go to a bar, again, back to that view, it's so easy.
Right.
It's really, not saying, again, depending on the time of night, and where you're at, yeah, and the first thing you see is in their eyes are dollar signs, because that's what everybody thought. Everybody's a millionaire, works on the floor. Like, yeah, right. Okay, so and the other thing is great point. I'd be looking at the in the CBOA especially, and no, actually on the Philly floor too, but looking at the guests' faces while they were looking down on the floor or actually on the floor and visiting, it was a look of an amazement. And it was not they weren't smiling. They would be like, what the fuck? How do they do this? And so again, that's important. Not important, but when you just said that, I do talk about that. I remember looking at visitors' faces of all the years being on the floor, and it was just simple amazement that we did this. Okay, so the other thing is now today. Today is now it's all, obviously floor is gone. But trading is more popular today than it was back then. And the biggest reason is, well, I shouldn't say the biggest reason. Again, all personal opinions, is crypto and Bitcoin. It's a whole new world out there, whole new generation of day traders. So again, I'm speaking to an investor, it's not like the floor will be attracted to you and I and maybe 10, 20 years younger. I mean, older, whatever, but we don't go that. Even the teens that are day trading, if they would, because they're traders, they have it in their blood, especially the ones they trade. But if they see something like that, what we did, they're going to be just blown away by that. I'm not going to say every single day trader, but they're going to be blown away by, here I am at my desk. You could hear a pin drop and I'm struggling to trade. Oh, well, why don't we take you right now and put you in the middle of the S&P 500 pit and try to make money right now? They'd be crying.
Right.
They'd go home crying. That's all there is to it.
Where you have to be seen and heard, right? You have to be the boldest version of yourself to even make a trade. Forget about a mouse and a button. You got to go buy them. You
have to talk, you're saying.
Yes, yeah.
But then think about everything that we've talked about and what we hear and what we experience with the spitting, the farting, the busting balls. I'm telling you, I lost a lot. Meaning, I'd be on the SIBO, and I even know the people again. Sam Adams. He and I would go at it every minute of the day. But the bottom line, someone had to win. When I say win, I'm just talking about who won the busting the balls, like who.
Right.
And I'm telling you, sometimes Sam, and there'd be two other. I'd walk away with my tail, I give up. I got my ass kicked. Then tomorrow's another day, or actually the next hour you come back and it was constant making fun of each other. So going back really quick. So basically it's a new world. It's a new world. Obviously that's not a no brainer with trading. And I feel again, it's not just the people that experience the trading. It's this younger generation that will be blown away by a good freaking movie. And my dream, my ultimate dream, Frank, was the TV series called the Floor. And this big time producer said, Danny, it's hard to get picked up as I love the idea, great, but if your name isn't Spielberg, the opportunity is probably gonna happen. Again, I'm using Spielberg because that's the only. and so she said, make a movie first. So that's why I went from the floor to the opening bell, and I took a lot of the floor is still in the opening bell, but I changed a lot of it around. And so now, good movie, and I'm telling you, it's going to happen. That one movie is going to turn into, again, another movie or what I want, because you can't put what we lived in an hour and a half, 2-hour movie. You need a TV series for that.
I agree with that.
Oh, 100%.
Because there's so many characters that you need a whole season to develop all that stuff.
But it goes back to, sure, Frank, but it just goes back to what we were saying, the story. So the way I kind of look at it, you got CSI Miami, CSI, I'm making these up, CSI Vegas, CSI blah, blah, blah. Well, it's the same thing. The Floor, Pecos, The Floor, New York, The Floor, CBOE. You could have the same thing with CSI, but do it with The Floor, but do it with each individual floor. And just, again, have great writers, great directors, get people that worked on the New York floor, the New York Stock Exchange floor, the Amex. And again, because it's not, again, remember, it's not about the floor. Think about it as the Yellowstone example. It's the Pecos, but it's the storylines that go out because, again, Frank, tell me, we had so much time, we had better times off the floor than we did on the floor. I mean, the shit we did, it was just a nonstop party.
So this is interesting. I'm starting to understand the difficulty with the pitch, right? Because you have to go pitch your ideas, right?
Yep.
And somebody's got to believe in your ideas. And now we look at, well, how many views are we going to get, right? How many people are going to be interested in this trading floor thing? Well, the way I would pitch it would be something like this. We all have innate things in us that constitute our human nature. And we have a lot of common things in our human nature, right? Mm-hmm. That we all have. One of them is the fantasy of getting rich, right? We all have that. So we like to look at stories and movies where somebody goes from, point A to point B and they gain wealth. And then those stories become even more interesting when they go back down to zero or less than zero. So crypto becomes very attractive to everybody, not just young people, because they have seen we've never had markets like the crypto markets, right? You want to buy a share of Apple at the beginning of, when it first becomes a public stock and ride that's a really nice ride. But a crypto, when I can buy a Bitcoin for 0.001 cent, and now it's $100,000. We've never had any kind of commodity or stock where you could actually start out with a few $100s and become worth a few $100 million. So the cryptos were very attractive to that part of human nature, like winning the lottery or, hey, I could become ultra wealthy. And it goes across all age groups. Well, the trading floor was that in those times. Exactly. That was what it was. Yep. That's where we could make fortunes like that. And that's attractive to everybody. That's like watching, if you like war movies, right? You can watch a modern warfare movie, or you can watch a World War II movie or a World War I movie. They're all interesting, even though the battle tactics and equipment are more primitive. It's still battle, right? That's right. And you love battle. You love the feel of the battle. And that's why I think this is such a great idea, because it appeals to that human nature of, look at how these guys could actually get rich, and then look at how they live their lives when they get rich, and how they fuck it up when they're rich. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like, I just think it appeals to everybody. Everybody likes this kind of stuff, you know?
And what a great, that's a good way of putting it. It really is, Frank, because I'm going to lead right into, let me just say this first, is I just feel that these kids these days, if you have trading in your blood, you know, and you have a good story, that you got a shitload of viewers here, because don't have the statistics right now, but how it went up during COVID for day traders. I mean, it just went through the roof. You know, what's the one? Robinhood.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they again, I'm going to make this up, so please, no one search it. And I mean, their signups went up 20%. I mean, it's just, day trading is like huge right now. And I just feel that, again, I'm being repetitive. I'm sorry, Frank. I feel that this isn't just for 40 to 60, or this is from teens to 70.
I agree.
I mean, really. The other thing is, you said crypto that's really interesting. What you just said with that, buy it at one and go to, and then here we are, millionaires. So I started another company called, it's called MMC Influencer Agency. MMC Influencer Agency. And basically, I'm going to try to make this quick. So back to the day trader, my idea for a reality show, I started interviewing, discussing this with financial influencers on the YouTubes of the world and Instagrams. And I won't tell you my pitch. And what I learned is that they're very young and they're very wealthy for the most part. You know, the financial ones. I'm saying influencers in like lifestyle. I'm just talking financial influencers. The one I spoke to, they are doing very well. And what are they doing, Frank? Bitcoin, trading Bitcoin and just obviously buying it. And so right now they are a big piece of the Day Trader reality show. And I've got probably like 2 or 3 showrunners. You know what a showrunner is?
Mm-mm.
Okay, make it really quick. Showrunner, let's say you're Taylor Sheridan. Taylor Sheridan is Taylor Sheridan, obviously, but I'm going to the peak. He's made Landman, Yellowstone. If he has an idea, he can go anywhere and show it. You know, again, if you were Taylor Sheridan and I have an idea, and Taylor Sheridan says, Danny, that's a great fucking idea. Well, he's going to take my idea and show it to everybody. Who's everybody? You know, again, Netflix, Hulu, MGM, all that. Okay, so I have 2 or 3 showrunners that are interested in the day trader, that knows the streamers to go and show the pitch this to. So again, to all the investors out there, if anybody wants to just discuss this with me,
yeah,
I've got it on, it's called a 1-pager, and I got a pitch deck, and I can tell you the people I'm talking to when it comes to the showrunners. And that's right now at the beginning stages. And that's part of what I'm, looking for, in the sense of under the umbrella of the floor. And obviously the opening bell, the movie, TV, everything's under one umbrella. I want to build this up into one, again, let's just call it a production company, even though I don't want to call it a production company. It's all right. And so, yeah, that's called, again, the Day Trader. And guys out there, and gals, whatever, the Day Trader, and I can't believe I'm going to say this, really, I like it better than the opening bell. Because of how it's, how I have it all set up. So yeah, no, I shouldn't have said that, because my love is the floor. I shouldn't, but I'm just so excited.
I know, I love it all.
I'm sorry, I can't. And I got one more thing, if you don't mind, Frank. So then what I did was, again, my imagination, I came up with an animated idea about the floor, and I have it in three different, say, ways to do it. And it's animation, and it would be like a what's it called? The not the Comedy Channel. What's it called? The network that's for the Adult Swim. it wouldn't be for Saturday mornings, if you remember our Saturday mornings type of cartoons.
Of course.
It would be like an Adult Swim type thing. But instead of people, and again, I have it in 3 versions, I have it in animals. So there'd be a bull, there'd be a bear, and then I've got 3 other characters that would fit.
Mm-hmm. I love that.
It's really cool. I really think
and the animation is so advanced now. It's interesting to adults too. Like my son is a Star Wars guy. They have a whole animated series of Star Wars episodes. They're awesome.
Okay, what I'm going to do is I'll send you the 1 pager. Just get back to me whenever you want. Just tell me what you think.
Yeah.
I'll send you the animal one. So when you look at these pitch deck and the 1 pager, you just got to let that imagination go, your creative mind, because you're a writer, you're creative, and just think about watching that as and again, it goes back to like, who would the viewers be? I think it would be from like 20-year-olds all the way up.
Yeah,
So
it's fascinating to me that like it didn't seem like when you were telling your story that anywhere in that story of your life that there was this creative machine in there. Nothing was going on, and then all of a sudden, poof, something hit you, right?
It was that stupid fucking reality show down below zero.
That was it. That was what prompted it, huh?
That was it. I was thinking, why? Again, won't get it. 5 families? I go, well, how about 5 day traders? And then, like I said, there's my high school English language for you, Frank. So yeah, it just started from there, and yeah, it's been a great ride.
Awesome. So for the people viewing, we're going to summarize this. You have these phenomenal things that you've done, writings based on trading floor, which we all have a passion for, which we're trying to pitch to everybody. Everybody's interested in this, and you're looking for investors. Yes.
Yep.
So
investors.
We just want to make it clear so people understand where you're at in the process. And you and I've had many conversations. You've talked to tons of people in the industry. So you're out there. This is not like a fledgling idea. You are out there and knocking down doors and stuff. Yes.
I got a producer. I got a composer. I got a director for the opening bell. I've got showrunners for the day trader. I'm right here. It's for the taking right now. Mm-hmm. So what you're asking me is, Danny, did you just start this yesterday? No, I've got the producer of the movie, the opening bell, the guy, the gentleman who's representing the production company. He's done over like 40 films. So we're talking people that know their shit. Like I said, Michael Day, you could look him up.
Tell me about the podcast real quick. The podcast you had me on and what your mission was with the podcast, because I love this.
Well, first of all, it's just all about the floor. I could talk about
right.
It just makes me happy. It's what happens when you get old, man. Just you wish you could go back in time. And I basically started the podcast just for that reason.
What's the name of the podcast?
But I haven't done one, Frank, in a long time.
What is I know.
It's called, oh my gosh, now you got me, what the fuck is it called?
I was on it. I don't remember the name. Wait. I'm on with Danny Sullivan. So
right now, remember when I said at the beginning of the podcast, I might have a moment?
Yeah, that's okay.
I'm having the moment right now. I cannot believe it. I'm ready.
As I like to say about myself, it doesn't take much to overload my medium-sized brain. So
still, this is really embarrassing.
But you told me with your podcast, you were, you didn't want to be a podcaster. You're not doing it to get views. You're doing it to keep this thing alive, right?
Yeah.
And it kind of, to point the light in the direction of what we did on the trading floor, right?
Exactly. I mean, really, that's that. And obviously, again, here's the other thing. I'm probably running out of time here, Frank. But again, this might be a chuckle. You know what I really want to do in the next 10 years? Is open up a museum.
Wow.
Now think about it. They have war museums. Okay, again, obviously, you know me. Again, just big time fan of veterans. Big time fan. So you go in and you go to, I'm trying to think of the one in Warrenville or something, or not Lyle. No. It's like in Wheaton.
Again, Cantini or?
Cantini. There you go. So
how about that for picking your brain?
What do you mean?
Did I guess canteen? That was what it
good.
was.
No, right. I'm still thinking of that's my fucking podcast. It's pissing me off. I can't believe that. But either way, here. So again, you go in, and I don't know if this is a good example or not, but you see history. Frank, there is so much history for the floor. It's not just about people yelling and screaming. There what the floor started back in, again, maybe the crash, all the way up to like the early 2000s, mid 2000s, there's so much shit that went on. And then again, which I this just popped in my mind, so I'm not as prepared, but I do have like why this would be such a great idea. Now, if you get good real estate in the right city, I just think if, again, you get the money behind you, you could have different rooms, like you go to Cantigny, and again, I think it's all World War II, I think, maybe one, but you have different rooms for different, it's the same thing. You could have like the P-Coast, the New York, the Amex, the CBR, the Board of Trade, have the history, have like people talking, testimonials, where were you doing at this time? And what happened during 9/11 here and the crash, the first crash. And again, there's just so much more to it than just like what we've been talking, like yelling and screaming and the endless stories. But actually, that's probably goes really well with this museum idea too.
Right. Well, I think the museum would be a natural follow-up notice I didn't say if, when your stuff starts to get produced and TV, the museum then becomes a no-brainer, because then you can also put in, memorabilia from the sets and all that stuff too. You know what I mean?
Now you move.
Yeah.
So you are again absolutely correct, because that's exactly what I said. I go, I got to do this first. Got to get it done. And then when that gains steam, let's say 5, 6, 7 years down the road, you got to, then I go to Jeff Yas and say, Jeff, would you be interested in, Jeff, again, here I am.
No, I love it, brother. We're biased, obviously, because we came from the environment, but it is, to me, it's interesting to everybody. I know for a fact it's interesting to everybody, because when I talk about being a broker on the trading floor with people who don't have any idea about what I did, okay? First of all, it's an art form to actually get them to understand, what is it that you did? Yeah. I'm like, well, I stood in a spot in the pit, and my clerks would be doing hand signals, transmitting information, and the pit is like a coliseum. So we were in the actual battle arena of the Coliseum, and all these people that would constitute the audience of the Coliseum, they were the customers, right? And they would shoot orders in the pit to my clerk, and my clerk would turn into me and say, buy X or sell X, all right? So now, if I have to buy something, this is me explaining it to someone who's never been on the floor. My clerk comes in and says, buy 1,000. So I'm looking for people with their hands like this, because this is sell and this is buy. So when I'm looking at you and you're doing that, and I'll go, buy him, Danny, and you go 27. So I have 27 that I've just purchased of 1,000. So I have to keep going. Buy him 100. Buy him 100. Now I have 227. I got to get to 1,000. So I become a human abacus, and I'm buy him. And then while I'm buying him, my clerk goes, make my total 2,000 and sell 500. Now I have 2,000 to buy. I have to remember what my count was on the first 1,000. And now I also have 500 to sell. And that goes on all day. And if you fuck it up, you could lose your house. And they're like, holy shit, that is super interesting to everybody, that kind of job, right?
Well, first of all, there's no way you got through that whole story with someone that had no idea about the floor without getting the deer in headlights look. Because I got that all the time. Like, you'd be talking, all of a sudden it'd be like, no fucking idea what you're talking about. So again, I was listening to you. I understood it, obviously, but tell me, people understood. Now, one thing about the hand signals, just imagine the attention that we got from people that was not in the industry just by hand signals. Just that little, I mean, it's not teensy to us, but I mean, just that little like hand signals blew them away. Yeah, what does that all mean? I don't know what the hell. again, it was, and to this day, I still go, I'll take 3 beers.
Yeah.
I use, it's like, what's the word? I do it not knowing I'm doing it, do you still use hand signals? Like, I'll take 1. Like if you're
I don't do it with quantities, but I do it with stuff. Like because we learned a whole language, right? Like this is phone.
Yeah.
Right. This is, cut it off, or I'm short, I'm out,
Yeah.
We had a whole language. So this Cargill,
yeah, I still use hand signals.
I've actually given people instruction without saying anything, just because of the language we created with our hands, the non-number things. So
I'm telling you, I again, going back to like a subject of the floor, I talk about hand signals, and that was like, wow, like really? Like I really got their attention. So,
and we made up our language as we went, right? Because by us, this was Merrill Lynch, this was Cargill,
yep.
Fill or kill. We get a fill or kill order,
I don't remember that one.
On a stop, yep. 3 on 500, all of that stuff. We made that up on the fly, and it became a real language,
So awesome, man. So awesome. And believe it or not, this whole time, I'm still trying to think of the podcast. I'm like pissed off.
We'll put it in the link on.
I don't care.
But it's cool though.
No, what I really, again, if anybody wants to, talk about my dream, my vision, and I don't say, I really mean this from the bottom of my heart. This is not, and I've said this many times, so it's not like, I know I feel I'm not bullshitting anybody when I say this, but I'm doing this for everybody that worked on the floor. I really am. Sure, but again, Danny Sullivan, yeah, cool, all that bullshit. But man, oh man, just getting everybody on the floor watching that going, okay, not bad. That's what I'm going for. I really am. Yeah,
well, we'll get some good views because this is kind of the part of the trading floor series, and the most views I get are on that stuff. I had Jimmy Place on here a couple times. He's a legend. Like his videos are off the charts. So I'm going to connect you with some people.
That'd be awesome.
Because while I was sitting here, I was thinking, I've been actually writing the names down of the people that would be interested in your project. So, and I also think this may be crazy. When you said you could fill up a whole pit with former traders, like the extras on the scene, that would be. I also think a lot of people could actually act in it that maybe have never acted, because we're acting out things that we actually did.
Well, first of all, again, let's think about this. It's the way I've thinking about this for a long time. We're all getting old and gray. Okay, so let's just say we have a pit of 300. Yeah, we got to get some kids in there. Okay, actors, extras. But the people that are going to be in the pit, like you, okay, you're in the pit. You're going to have lines. You're not going to be standing there. Mm-hmm. Like you get extras in a movie where they're just staying there doing nothing. They're sitting at a table or whatever. No, these extras are going to be part of this film. They're going to be fucking doing, announcing, what they have. They're going to get in a fight with someone next to them. It's going to be the real deal. It's going to be the real fucking deal. Because that's my number one.
Yeah, I love it.
So again, you know what I meant by, if there's 300 people, we can't have 300 old heads in there. It's not going to look too.
Yeah, I got you.
Got to get us when we were in our prime, like in our 20s and 30s.
Hey, but
40s.
The Irishman, they portrayed De Niro is like a 30-year-old. They actually made him up to be like a 30-year-old. You remember that?
You know what? True.
So
with what special effects is kind of what you're saying, but they can, what's it called when they? Okay, here, forget it. But no, I know what you're saying. You can probably turn, what you're saying is, Danny,
we can roll back.
Make Frank Lardino look like a 25-year-old.
Yeah.
That's what you're trying to say. That's all right. I'll take Frank Lardino at 25 if they can do it. Listen, then I'll get every single person from the floor. That would be the requirement if they can do that shit with special effects and whatever they do now.
Right.
But again, I don't know if they can do that. Who gives a shit? But that would be cool. So that's what I think about that all the time, man. And I'm here. I'm here. It's like you asked me that question I'm here. I've got everything set up, ready to go.
Awesome.
Ready to go.
Well, this will be a good plug. And, when we're done, we'll circulate it where we'll circulate it, and we'll get it done. I feel good about this. So,
okay. Well, if you can do that, Frank,
so now
in your day.
we busted each other's balls about being nervous. This is two guys fighting each other for the microphone. That's how I looked at it. It's like the kids with the baseballs. It's my turn. It's your turn. It's my turn.
Yeah,
but it's good. So
you're correct.
And how did we even come together? I don't even
know. That story. Remember I told you at the very beginning, I'm going to tell you something?
Yeah.
About you?
Yeah.
Again, remember, when you tell an Irishman, you did that story about the 25 and it turns out to be 250K, goes around.
Yep.
So remember, the Irish can embellish, and once it goes, the story is completely different. But again, just to make it sound better for your audience, I go, who is this fucking prick? Totally embellishing, because I thought about this idea of doing a podcast with Floor a couple years ago. Now, you could have said the same thing, and I'm sure you did. But being me, I'm like, I don't know where I was, Frank. I was on the internet, obviously, and all of a sudden I'm like, what the fuck? Someone's already, because no one was doing it before you. Not that I know of. I mean, doing a podcast about the floor. Mm-hmm. Now, you can tell me something new, but remember, at that time.
So you kind of stumbled across me is what you're saying.
Oh, yeah. And because I typed in, but no one was there. And I'm really ready to get mine done. I want to be the first one ever to do a podcast about the floor. You dickhead.
But you're actually, I'm not, it's not just about the floor for me.
No. Stop taking no. We're going to stick with this. No, you're not going to take anything away from this, because it was funny as shit to me, man. Yes. I'm like, it's like, when the Roadrunners, he's cruising, the Coyote's ready to get him, and the Roadrunner just takes off, and his jaw goes, that was when I looked at it, my jaw went, motherfucker, man. So that was the first time I saw Frank Lardino. And Frank Lardino, in my book, forget about thinking about it. Number one, you were the first one, because I was too late. I think I did. You know what I did? Here's what I did, Frank. I started interviewing people for The Floor, the TV series. I've got over like 100 hours of interviews, just hearing people talk, so I could take their stories and use it with the TV series. And boy, oh boy, I got like literally. And again, here I go again. 100 hours? There's tens of thousands of hours. If I,
oh yeah,
you know what I mean? Okay, so I did that first, and I was going to take. That's when I started going, why don't you do a podcast? And that's like one day later, I'm making that up. Day later, Frank Lardino, that mother.
And then graciously, you had me on your podcast.
I reached out to you. I go, swallow your Irish pride.
I was thrilled. So, and that was a lot of fun too.
Oh, you're the best. That was one of my favorite. And I'm not just saying
I wore my trading code, and we laughed and chucked it up. It was really good.
You just did a good job, man. The way you tell a story too, and you really just no bullshit there.
I'm here to amuse you? Is that what I'm?
Right. Goodfellas?
Exactly.
Goodfellas.
Yeah.
So, okay. I got a feeling from one podcaster to another, it's ready to wrap up.
Yeah, we'll wrap it up, my friend. Awesome interview. Thank you for sharing some of your life with me.
Very welcome.
You're on a good path. We're going to get this thing done. I'm telling you, I feel really good about it. So,
I'm telling you, if this happens, then whoever's involved, we're all going out and we're going to fucking celebrate.
Hell yeah.
And we're going to get this thing done, and we're going to make the floor people proud.
Yeah, I love that.
And I just want to keep it going.
Yeah, we have to keep our history alive, and supplant it so it goes forward forever.
And just so you know, I got to say, I got goosebumps literally all over. So that's how, just when you say something like that to me, gets excited, and I'm just, I'm excited.
Awesome.
Okay.
Thank you, brother, for coming on. Thank you, everybody, for watching. This is the Warrior Podcast with Frank Lardino, our special guest, Danny Sullivan. He is going to be at the top of the Hollywood charts, and it's only a matter of time. We'll see you at our next podcast. And remember, there's a warrior inside us all. Take care, everyone. Thank you, Danny.